All right, so thank you, Laura. Now we'll move on to the next agreement.
Okay, so again, we've been working at the construction of a new 911 center for quite a while now. The first part of that is to develop a concept of what the building needs to be and house and function and so on, which leads to then what kind of parcel and where the location of the parcel of land needs to be. And we did an extensive search. We ultimately considered about 10 different properties throughout the county, and with a lot of criteria, man-made hazards, natural hazards nearby, access to technology, access to services. So there was a multi-page vetting that we did with all sorts of issues to be determined good or bad for the location of the facility. And we finally agreed on or have identified a parcel. And this is a two-part approval that I'll be asking you for on this. One is a resolution, the other is an agreement of sale. But the parcel is located along Cornwall Road, directly across from Stony Bridge Landscaping. It is, recently there was a bank, there was a funeral home and an office complex built adjacent to it on Cornwall Road, and a traffic light was installed. So this is just to the south of that. It is on land owned by Richard and Carol Kreider. And what we are hoping to do is purchase a 10.45 acre parcel of land that we can place our 911 center and hazmat facility and Department of Emergency Services Administration building upon. Before we get to the agreement of sale and the agreed upon price for the parcel is $120,000 per acre for 10.45 acres. That comes to just short of 1.3 million for this property. You have actually a board before you had borrowed funds to construct a backup facility for 911, which never came to fruition. Those funds and proceeds are still on hand. So in order to purchase this property, we would simply utilize those funds that were borrowed for the purpose of 911. And there are approximately $900,000 left in that fund. So you would need another $400,000 from capital toward this. But this particular part of the project would not be newly borrowed funds. You essentially have most of this on hand, in hand to do the acquisition. Beyond that, this will be a borrowed project. We talked a little about the county's debt service and where we stand with that right now. We are in I would say, a very good position, particularly relative to some other counties. The county, with an annual budget of $85 million, has about, after today's debt service payments, probably about $14 million in total principal, which is a very, very good position to be in. And that was acknowledged in our bond rating from Standard & Poor's earlier this year, and so on. So you have a lot of capacity to borrow. It's not something this county does very often, but without question, this will be the largest project the county will have undertaken cost-wise. The technology that is involved, the type of construction that a building like this is built with is expensive. There's no question about it. It is right in the neighborhood of the facility of a jail, or the building of a jail, or the building of a hospital. There are redundant systems. It is a hardened facility. So this will be an expensive facility. There's no question. However, again, first thing to do is to get a property acquired. The first thing we're asking you is to adopt a resolution for the acquisition of the land in lieu of condemnation. Essentially, this is stating that this facility is for the purposes of public safety, safety of the community, et cetera, and that if you were not able to acquire this land through a sales agreement, which you were, if you were not able to, this resolution is saying that you would be willing or would have been willing to do it via condemnation procedures. Again, that is not the case at this point, because we have an arm's length agreement with the seller with the price that both parties have agreed upon. So this is a straight sale, just as you would, two agreeable parties. But I am asking that resolution to be adopted. This is on the recommendation of our solicitor, and that was part of the negotiation in order to resolve some of the extra costs that are typically involved with the transaction. If it's done in lieu of condemnation, we all realize some savings there. So that's for that resolution. Tom, anything to add to that? You were instrumental in researching that and coming up with the wording.
Yes, I think that's the appropriate way to approach it, and hopefully it'll work out. I'm pretty sure that we can get an agreement signed forthwith.
All right.
Okay. All right. Seek a motion.
This is a motion on the resolution.
Yep.
I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution what's the language?
In lieu of condemnation.
In lieu of condemnation. Thank you.
I'll second the motion. I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Tom, can we, I keep looking for the words in lieu of condemnation in the agreement. Can you point that out to me, please?
I don't think that those words are in the agreement.
That's a separate resolution.
That's
The agreement.
Could they be in the heading or in the resolution somewhere?
we can.
Can we amend the motion to include those words in the resolution?
Oh, no, wait. No, the words in lieu, I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question. No, we're not putting in the resolution in lieu of. We're putting, the resolution is to authorize condemnation. The agreement will be in lieu of, the agreement with the Kreiders itself will be in lieu of condemnation.
And that is
just compensation.
Yeah. And that's right in the heading of the agreement, Sam.
Okay, now I see it. I didn't see it on this one, it's on the other one. Okay. I just thought it needed to be there somewhere, but I do see it now. Thank you for pointing that out.
Sure.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor regarding this resolution. Any further comment or question? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Okay. Then the second item on that action, or on this parcel, is the actual agreement of sale in lieu of condemnation. And this would, the terms would be, as I described, as a 10.45 acre parcel of land owned by Richard Kreider and Carol Kreider. It's actually part of an overall 30 acre parcel. It's the 10.45 is being subdivided. It's the northernmost portion of the land. Purchase price being $120,000 per acre. This agreement allows for the county to have 90 days from the date of the agreement to conduct a due diligence feasibility study of the parcel. If the county determines that it is not in the county's best interest to proceed, the agreement shall become null and void. I will add to that, we have done some, pretty significant due diligence to this. I don't expect this to turn out to be anything but a usable parcel. That was part of our whole vetting of the other 9 parcels that we had looked at. We feel very confident about this one. At the end of the 90-day due diligence period, if the county determines to proceed, it shall pay $50,000 applicable to the purchase price, but non-refundable should the county not complete the transaction. Settlement shall occur within 21 days of the receipt of the county's necessary approvals and permits. If the county is unable to obtain those within 8 months from that date, then there's an additional $50,000 due, which is also applicable to the purchase price. The rest talks about all legal costs and attorney's fees are be borne by the respective parties. So, again, Tom, anything I may have missed on that?
No, I think that covers it.
Well, then I'll make a motion to purchase the 10.45 acre parcel from Richard and Carol Kreider, and that is at the cost of $120,000 per acre, I believe.
Correct.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the floor. As outlined in this agreement, we're committing to this land purchase. I do have one question, or I'll entertain other questions first. Jamie, the roughly $400,000 that we're going to take from the capital fund, my understanding is that when we would go to market to do the bond issue, that we could replenish that $400,000 into the capital fund. Is that from the proceeds of the bond issue?
For the $400,000, I don't think we were planning on doing it that way.
Okay, all right.
Or any other cost to the project going forward, if there's anything that you would lay out for, let's say for design or construction, I don't anticipate this, but if there were any, you're correct about those.
Okay.
Those can be, but it takes a resolution in advance, I believe, to state that you intend to reimburse yourself from proceeds before doing that. So this one.
All right. My only, it's nice to have a strong capital fund when you need it, and that was my only thought there. Commissioner Litz?
I believe Laura LeBeau has her hand up again.
Okay,
before we get to Laura, I just would add to you that if it means anything, the parcel that you're selling, the additional parcel that we acted upon earlier here to sell for $250,000, that's essentially windfall. The other 4 acres we had planned on and accounted for, but that's a windfall sale. So.
All right, I feel better. Thank you. Let's vote on the motion. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Okay, we have the motion is passed. Thank you, everyone. And now we'll bring Laura back in. Dawn, if she has some questions relative to this.
Thank you. Yes, commissioners, just 2 quickies. And is this land, am I understanding and thinking back in my memory that this was the land that at one time Dick Kreider tried to sell to Walmart, back in the early 2000s? Is this that plot of land?
Yes.
Or a piece of it?
Part of it.
It's a piece of it, yeah. It's gone through a number of different considerations, I guess. That I think you're right, that was one. And in our research for taking title, it was also granted an option for the name of the developer is slipping my mind. That's Springwood Developers had an option to purchase it also back in 2013, which expired. So there's been significant interest in this property over the years. But yeah, same one you're referring.
Okay. And when you mentioned, Jamie, that beyond the land acquisition, this would be the largest construction project to date for the county, can any of you just sort of ballpark what kind of numbers are we talking about once you start building the buildings?
I guess I'm going to leave that one to the commissioners. They have seen some numbers. We haven't done any borrowing on them yet. They're estimates based on the current design. I guess I'm just not really sure how much. Yeah, I'm not sure that at this point we should be going there because this is the first step in this commitment, but there is discussion needed to get to a number that we would want to put out there.
I agree. I think that the number that was given was pie in the sky kind of numbers, and then we had to see what we really need.
Okay, well then let me just ask this. When, provided the land sale goes through, and I'm certain it will, when would you project possibly breaking ground on the buildings?
Boy, I'm going to say a year from now, Laura.
So we're still a ways off to getting this 911 center.
Yeah, we're 2 years away from a, turnkey.
Operating center, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because in addition to the structure itself, it's also going to entail the radio system, 911 radio system, which is approaching 15, 16 years old, I think now. We've got some compliance issues we need to step up to on that. P25 and some other, which Bob Dowd could explain a little better than I, but yeah, we're going to be doing a replacement of the radio system,
right,
communication system as well. So that's going to be parallel. So it'll be a little bit challenging and complicated to do these things at the same time, but we'll have to stand up both of those things at the same time, radio system and building. And the estimate for the building construction is a year, essentially.
And this is another, I think, good day for generational commitment here. But this is in the area of public safety. This is going to carry us for generations ahead in terms of the highest technology that's available, for our citizens. So it's another investment in that area for generations to come as well. So I think, this is the first step in that process.
And I'd like to recognize and thank my colleagues. I've been lobbying for a new 911 center for many years, and they've stepped up to the plate to make this commitment. So I want to say thank you publicly.
Okay. All right. We are moving on, Laura. Thank you. And